Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi, Maseches CHULLIN Daf Tzadi Beis. We are on the second line off the top. Back to the episode where Yaakov Avinu was challenged by the Malach that represented Esav. They struggled, and ultimately the Malach did reach over and injure Yaakov Avinu's thigh, his Gid Hanasha, which was dislocated. Hence, the prohibition to consume that portion of the animal. Now, in describing the story, we have a pasuk in Hosea. Vayasar el malach vayuchal. Vayasar comes from sar, a minister. He controlled. Vayuchal bocha v'yischan Eloi. He cried. He begged him. Beis kel yimtze'enu v'sham midaber imanu. Okay, so that's a pasuk in Hosea, indicating that there was some struggle, and somebody prevailed, doesn't say who, and the other one begged him, cried to him, begged to him. So what happened? I'm not sure who became the sar, who ministered over who prevailed, who was victorious. But when we go back to Bereshis, where it says Kisarisa, so Yaakov Avinu, he was told that he'll have a name change. No more Yaakov, rather it's Yisrael, because you prevailed over men, over angels. Kisarisa im Elohim Havi Omer. Now we know who won the battle. Havi Omer Yaakov Nasa Sar Lamalach. In fact, Yaakov ended up on top. He was victorious over the Malach. And the pasuk continues there. Bocha v'yischan Eloi. He begged him. Who begged who? Who cried to who? What was he trying to achieve? I'm not sure who cried to whom, but then back in Bereshis it says that the Malach told Yaakov Avinu, he says, Shalcheni, please let me go. I need to leave, I need to go. Havi Omer. That tells us that in fact Malach, Bachal Yaakov, the Malach cried to Yaakov, let me go, I have to go to Shemayim to complete my mission, to sing to Hashem, as we learned yesterday. Okay, so the pasuk speaks about Yaakov Avinu prevailing. Kisarisa im Elohim v'manoshim. He prevailed. Eloshin Elokim, Eloshin Anoshim. What is that? Says the Gemara, it was actually a hint as to the future of Klal Yisrael, our leaders, our prominent people. Amar Rabbi Remez Ramazloi. So the Malachin, relating to these terms, was actually hinting to him. Remez Ramazloi Shasidim Shnei Sarim Lotzis Mimenu, that in the future, two great prominent people will emerge from Yaakov. Roish Goyla Shebebavel, so that's the head of the community in Bavel. V'Nasi Sheberetz Yisrael. Likewise, in Eretz Yisrael there was a different type of leader called a Nasi. Rashi explains, hence the two terms, Elohim and Anoshim, because he says that Nasi was the head of the Sanhedrin in Eretz Yisrael, the head of the yeshiva. So he's related to, with the term Elohim, Rashi says, that's a reference to somebody who had smicha, appointed as an official dayan, as we find in the pasuk in Shmois, ad ha-Elohim yavid v'ashneim, related to the dayanim, so the official judges. So the Nasi in Israel had that title, whereas in Bavel they didn't have smicha. It was a sort of a lower level type of position of leadership, and that's the Rosh Goyla, which is hinted in the word Anoshim. Mikan Romaz Legalos. So in these references, he actually alluded to the fact that we're going to be going into exile, and we're going to be having a community live in Bavel, led by the Rosh Goyla. Ubagefesh Leisha Surikim. Okay, speaking about interpreting psukim, we have another whole discussion that relates to the psukim back in Mitzrayim, where the Sar Hamashkim, the minister in charge of the wine, all that, he dreamt and related his dream as follows. Ubagefen shleisha sarigim. He saw this vision of the vine with 3 branches. What is it referring to? Amar Rav Chia bar Abba, Amar Rav, Elus Gimel Sarei Geim. Sarigim stands for Sarei Geim. That Klal Yisrael will have at least 3 prominent members, wealthy and close to the authorities and influential on the authorities on behalf of their communities, on behalf of Klal Yisrael. Hayotim Yisrael. B'chol over there in every generation, we're going to have some people up there. A total of 3. Pa'amim, sometimes it's 2 over here in Bavel and 1 in Eretz Yisrael. Sometimes it's the opposite. Pa'amim sheshnaim kan ve'echad over there in Eretz Yisrael. Pa'amim, sometimes it was in the reverse. Sheshnaim Eretz Yisrael, 2 lived in Eretz Yisrael, ve'echad kan, 1 here in Bavel. And at this time, when this was learned, Yahiv Rabban Einai, Rabbanan placed their eyes, so to speak, meaning they attributed these positions to members who were around at that time. B'Rabbana Ukva, that was 1, and also Rabbana Nechemia. These 2 qualified as representatives of the community in this regard. B'nei Barte, the Rav, they played this role. They were the grandchildren of Rav. Rav Amar Elu Shleisha Sari Goyim. He learns that Shleisha Sarigim has a different connotation. Sarigim are Sari Goyim. Even amongst the Goyim, we will consistently have those prominent Goyim who will advocate on behalf of our community and be on our side. Shemalamdim Schus al Yisrael. In every generation we'll have some ministers on our side. Tanya, Rabbi Lazar Omer. Okay, another explanation on the vision of the Geffen. He says like this: Geffen ze ha'olam. The Geffen represents the world. Shleisha Sarigim, the 3 branches are the 3 great tzaddikim: ze Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Further in the pasuk, V'kefei rachas also nitza, there were these buds growing out of there. Eloi Mois, referring to the Imois, Sarah, Rivka, right? Hivshulu ashkolosei anovim. The ashkolos are the clusters of grapes. Right, so they produced grapes. They ripened. Elu ashvatim. That's the next generation, the shvatim, who laid the foundation for Klal Yisrael. Amar le Rabbi Yeshua. So Rabbi Yeshua responded to Rabbi Lezer. Is this what the Saramashkim saw? Typically, right, is a person shown past events in his dreams? Typically, it's about the future. A person only sees the future in his dreams. So if he was shown a vision, it wasn't about the avos and the imois. This was past event. He must have been being shown. We know that nevuah has an element of a dream has an element of nevuah, right? The Gemara Brachos, right? It's echad mishishim b'nevuah. Nevuah relates to the future. If he was given this vision, it was about the future. Ella, rather, the correct interpretation is like this: it all relates to future events. So he saw this vine, Geffen. Ella Geffen is a Torah. It's a Torah which contains the wine within it, the depths of Torah. Shleisha Sarigim, who are the 3 branches? Those are the 3 tzaddikim. Elush, Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. V'kef harachas al tzanitza, which sprouted forth the next generations of Chachamim. Elu Sanhedrin, these are the Sanhedrin that promote true understanding of Torah. And if Shilu, Ashkel, Se'anovim, the clusters of grapes, refers to the clusters of tzaddikim, Elu tzaddikim, that are found throughout all generations. Shebchol Devar. Amar Gamliel, we're not done yet. The best is yet to come. Adayin, after all said and done, after all these explanations, Tzrichin Anu L'Moidoi. We still need Rabbi Lezer HaMoidoi's explanation because he's right on. Demukim le'kulei b'chad makom. He applies the entire vision as relating to one single location. In Yerushalayim, Beis HaMikdash, Rabbi Lezer HaMoidoi Omer. So he learns like this: Geffen ze Yerushalayim. Shloisha Sarigim, the 3 branches, relate to our 3 primary institutions, the 3 branches of government. The Mikdash, right, the Beis HaMikdash, the Melech, the king, the Kohen Gadol. What sprouted forth, what budded forth? The young Kohanim who served in the Mikdash. What was produced from grapes? Elu nesach, the wine poured on the mizbeach. Okay, Rabbi Shimon Levi had a different approach to the pasuk. Moikim leva matanos. He interpreted this pasuk as discussing gifts, relating to gifts that Hashem gave us. Don Rabbi Shimon Levi, Geffen, that's the Zutayra that has the depth of Hashem's Chachma. Shloisha Sarigim, the 3 branches are the 3 miraculous provisions we had in the Midbar as we traveled. The be'er, right, the fresh well of water. Amud Anan, the cloud that would lead us. Uman, and the food, right? Vike Farachas al Sanitza, what budded forth. Elu HaBikurim, Rashi says. This is once we entered Eretz Yisrael, a land full of lush fruit and produce, which enabled us to give the first growth, the Bikurim, to Hashem. And finally, if Shilosh Klasei Anavim, Elu Nesachim, the wines that we offered in the Mizbeach as well. So this represents gifts and blessings and bounty of Hashem to Klal Yisrael. Rabbi Yerubba'el Abba Amar, he says it relates to when they left Mitzrayim. Geffen El Yisrael, right? So the vine in its totality represents Klal Yisrael. V'cheinu Omer, as we find in the pasuk, Geffen mi Mitzrayim Tasiya, Hashem relocated us from Mitzrayim, the Geffen, our nation. So that's the Geffen. Shleisha Sarigim. In a minute we'll see why, by the way, why Klal Yisrael is reminiscent of a Geffen. We'll see. In any case, this is when we left Mitzrayim. Shleisha Sarigim. Elu Shleisha Regalim. She'Yisrael Oilen Vehen V'chol Shana V'Shana. So the 3 branches represents the 3 opportunities of Oila Regel to Yerushalayim. So after we left Mitzrayim, we were taken to Eretz Yisrael. We had that opportunity. And it sprouted forth. What's that? It's time for our redemption. It's time to multiply, to increase in numbers. As we find in Mitzrayim, it talks about our multiplication. What does also nitza mean? So Rashi learns nitza can be read also like netzach, because the letter hey and ches are both throat related, interchangeable. The netzach here is referring to the blood of the Mitzrayim, the eternity, their strength, their stronghold. So basically it's referring to their life force, which was splattered and vanquished when Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. He punished them and took us out. It's time for Yisrael to be redeemed. As we find in the pasuk, their blood will be splattered. The grapes are ripe. What does that mean? The time is ripened for Mitzrayim to drink from the cup of calamity as retribution for all they did against our nation. As per Rava, who tells us Shleisha Koisis. If you take a close look at the Psukim describing the vision of the Sarah Mashkim, you'll find the term Kois mentioned 3 times. Why 3 times? So once it says V'kois paroi, then it says El kois paroi, V'etenes ha-kois al kav paroi. Why kois paroi 3 times? Shloisha koises hamuris b'mitzrayim lama. What do they represent? 3 stages of calamity that was applied to Mitzrayim for what they did for us. Achad sheshasab mei Moshe, 1 cup that it drank from in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, the makos that they experienced. That's 1. The next time they experienced misfortune was when they were attacked by Nebuchadnezzar, or attacked Pari Nechei during that time. And the 3rd installment is still coming. They'll drink together with all the Goyim as punishment for what they did against us. Rabbi Abba. So he told them, Ki darish lu Rav lani kroi b'Galata. When Rav would expound on these psukim in the way, B'Galata, of explaining the drush, the deeper meaning of the psukim, kavasach darshlu, he would actually go with your approach as just expounded. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. So we have this correlation between a Geffen and Klal Yisrael. What's the connection? What's the matchup? Umazu, this nation, our nation, Kegeffen Nimshla, is reminiscent of a vine. It has similar characteristics, similar features. Just as a vine is comprised of all different elements. You have the grapes, you have the branches, you have the leaves, right? You have little offshoots. Our nation is multifaceted, comprised of many different elements who all work in unison to bring about the completion of the realization of Hashem's plan for us. The branches in the vine, how are they represented in Klal Yisrael? These are the business people, the supporters of Torah that hold up the grapes that learn Torah. The grapes, the clusters, Elu Talmid Chacham, that represents the Talmid Chacham who study Torah. Olan Shabbat, the leaves in the vine, who does that represent? Elu Ama'aretz, members of our nation who are less than prominent, totally unlearned. But, as Rashi explains, just as the leaf shields the grape from the sun, from the elements, likewise the Ami Haaretz, they pave the roads, they plow the farms, which otherwise would have to be done by the Rabbanim. So, they protect, they provide, and they complete the picture. What about these little offshoots? These are the least prominent members amongst Klal Yisrael, who don't seem to have much purpose, but ultimately they're part of the bunch, part of the family, and somehow contribute to the totality of our experience. As they sent from Eretz Yisrael, so they use metaphoric language that the Iskalaya, the clusters, the grapes, should pray for the leaves, that the leaves should be successful. If not for the leaves, the grapes wouldn't endure. So Klal Yisrael works as a team, with all members contributing their part to bring about our collective success. Okay, speaking about expounding on Psukim, specifically regarding redemption from Mitzrayim, we have a pasuk, once again in Hosea. What is this pasuk referring to? The word kira relates to a transaction, a sale. The grave that I purchased, Yaakov Avinu purchased, right, from his b'chamisha asar. So Hashem says he purchased with 15. What does 15 mean? Zet Tesvav b'Nisan, the 15th day of Nisan, Shabai, on which Nigalu Yisrael Mitzrayim, which was the day of our redemption from Mitzrayim. And this was on account of Kesef. What is Kesef? Hashem didn't pay with money. Kesef means El Tzadikim. The righteous people amongst us, they were the cause of our redemption. As the pasuk says, Surah Kesef Nakach B'Yada, he took the bundle of Kesef, which were the Tzadikim. So you see, Kesef and Tzadikim are synonymous. The pasuk continues with a reference to Chomer So'irim, which is 15 Sa'ah, V'lesach So'irim, which is 30 Sa'ah, a total of 45 in number. What does that represent? Elu Memei Tzadikim, Sha'olam Miskayim Behem. That refers to the group of 45 Tzadikim, of righteous people, that are always present and keep the world going. Now, where are they located? I'm not sure. If it's 30 here in Bavel, V'tezvav, and 15 Beretz Yisrael, or the other way around. Beretz Yisrael, 30 in Eretz Yisrael, V'tezvav, and 15 over here in Khan and Bavel. Not sure. But when we take a look at the pasuk in Zechariah, which says V'ekcha shloishim hakesef, I took the 30. V'ashlich oisoi beis Hashem al hayotzer, the 30 tzaddikim, I put them beis hayotzer. So now we know Beis Hashem is the Beis Hamikdash, so they were living in Eretz Yisrael. Now we can conclude Shloishim 30 are found by Eretz Yisrael, but Tesvav and only 15 Khan in Bavel. So the number in Eretz Yisrael is double the total number of tzaddikim throughout the world. Amar Abaye, you're not going to find them so easily. They're true tzaddikim. If they're true tzaddikim, they're not going to be making waves or making themselves too known. Chances are you're not going to really notice them. They're humble, unassuming. Most of the mishtaki can be found in Beit Knishta, in this little shtibel, this little shul, the Tusei Avta, which is beneath the ledge there, some sort of unassuming place. Okay, speaking about our redemption, coming in account of our righteous members, as per the pasuk, which says, V'omer aleim. Hashem tells the Goyim, Return my pay, my tzaddikim. What are these 30 tzaddikim? Rabbi Yehuda Aimer elu shloisha tzaddikim umas ha'olam. So actually, according to this version in the Gemara, Hashem is referring to 30 righteous amongst the Gentiles, which gives the Goyim reason to exist. They sustain the Goyim. Interesting. Ula Amar, Ula says, it's referring to 30 righteous deeds that the Goyim do. Elu shleisha mitzvahs she kibla alem bnei noyach vein mekaymen el shleisha. He says initially they were makabel, they accepted upon themselves 30 righteous deeds, and Rashi says Lenis Parsh. I'm not sure which 30 are, but the Ramam Pana goes through a whole long list. Aside from the standard 7 mitzvahs bnei noyach, we have all kinds of other things that they covered ha-Torah and learning the parts of Torah that pertain to them, etc., etc. But in reality, it says the Gemara, "Ve'ein mekaymen ela achas el shloisha." At the end of the day, they only held on to 3 things. So initially, they committed to 30, but now it's down to 3. What are these 3 that they wouldn't cross? Red lines that they don't cross, and unfortunately nowadays these are crossed as well. Achas, one is return to Talmud Bavli, she'ein koisvin kisuba l'scharim. Although, as Rashi explains, they're not careful with intermale interactions, but at least they won't establish it formally and write a ksuba, a marriage document, for 2 zecharim. Va'achas, so that's a red line they wouldn't cross. Number 2, va'achas she'ein shoichlin basar hameis makul. They're not cannibals. They respect the dead. They don't weigh their flesh and the makulit and the butcher. Basically they respect their dead. And number 3, va'achas she'mechaben es haTorah. They respect the Torah. Okay, continues the Gemara. So even the Goyim have respect for clergy and for religion. So that much they still held on to. Back to Giranasha. So the prohibition, the isser of partaking in the sciatic nerve only applies to a behema. Why? The Mishnah says, because if you look at the pasuk, it speaks about the Giranasha, which is al kaf hayorich. Kaf is like a spoon shaped, like a round shaped, blob of flesh sitting on the thigh area. That's where the Giranasha is positioned. That only is found by a behema. You don't have that by a bird, by a chicken. And therefore, this whole issue is not applicable to a bird. What do you mean? We see, take a look at a chicken. It has a kaf basar. It has this, wide section of basar over that area, over the thigh area. Isla, yeah, it has some sort of blob, but it's not round, it's not circular. And therefore it doesn't qualify. Now comes an interesting question. Generally, behemoths have a circular section of meat, whereas by fowl, it's not. Suppose you have an exception, an anomaly, a bird which has a round kaf hayorich, and conversely a behemoth which has a squarish, more symmetrical section of meat. By Rabbi Yirmiyah, classic Rabbi Yirmiyah, Islay la'oif v'agel. Suppose the bird was found to have a round thing. Islay the behemoth v'agel, or the behemoth's section, it has it, but it's not round. What happens now? Shall we say it's individual? Basa the de'aslina, do we focus on this individual entity? It's only usher if it's a kaf hayarech. Okay, so in this case the bird has it, it's usher. Behemoth doesn't, it's mutter. Oh no. Do you look at the collective category, the class? Since in general a behemoth has, so every behemoth is usher, whether or not this particular one qualifies as round, and contrarily by a bird. Do we look at the min? If his min is usher, then it's usher. If his min is generally okay, then take it, we leave it unresolved. What about an unborn animal? So the Mishnah, the Tanakama, says that the Giranasha issue applies even to an unborn animal discovered within, right? So full term ben pekua, discovered within the mother animal after shchita. He's his own entity, and the Giranasha is usher even there as well. That's the Tanakama, which actually corresponds to the Shita of our Meir, which we had a while ago, that a full term ben pekor, discovered within the mother, needs its own shechita. So it's its own entity. It's his own person. If he's his own person, then all elements of behema apply to him as well. The shlil is asr, the chaylev is asr. As opposed to Rabbi Yehuda, who told us in the Mishnah, no, it's not applicable to a shlil. Why? Because Rabbi Yehuda goes with his opinion that even a fully developed fetus discovered within the mother animal after shechita is subordinate to the mother, still considered attached to the mother and covered by the mother's shechita. In which case, it's just like a blob of flesh. The whole thing is just basar. We don't identify the gid as being a gid anash. It's just sort of part of that collective blob of meat, part of the mother's entity. And likewise, the chaylev of the unborn, in this case, is mutter. It's not classified as chaylev. It's just part of the general blob, which is mutter. It becomes an interesting statement from Shmuel. It's fats, which are typically forbidden. In this case, it's mutter, it's permitted. According to all opinions. Now, what chaylev was he referring to, which is universally regarded as permitted? Well, what does that mean? Which chaylev are we talking? Ilim with the shlil of the unborn animal, the fetus, discovered within the mother. That's subject to a big machlokes. How could you say everybody agrees? Well, miflek pligi bey. It's subject to machlokes. The sanya. We have it in the Brisa very clearly laid out. Noyeg b'shlil v'chal b'asa. According to Rameir, the animal has its own identity, as explained, and therefore he has his own gid anasha. His chaylev is aser. Rabbi Daimer, no, it's the opposite. Ein noyeg b'shlil v'chal b'muter. The ben pekua is just an attachment of the mother, and it's just a blob of meat. As far as we're concerned, there's no gid anasha, there's no chaylev. V'amar b'laser. Rabbi Yeshin explained for us very clearly, machlokes, this discussion pertains to Biben Tisha Chai, a full term, 9-month fetus discovered within the mother. And this corresponds to their machlokes regarding the shechita requirement of that fetus. It's linked one to the other. V'alach Rameh l'shita, so Rameh says that he has Isser Gid and Isser Chaylev, that is in line with his opinion regarding shechita as well. He needs his own shechita, his own entity, and regarded as a full-fledged animal, regarding all the halachas, including gid and chaylev. Rabbi Yehuda says, don't worry about the gid and chaylev and the unborn, because it's covered by the mother's shechita. For all we know, it's not its own thing, it's part of a piece of meat. So how could Shmuel tell us that the chaylev is mutter according to all sheetas? It's machlekes. Okay, skip the unborn animal. We're speaking about a regular animal with a regular gid anasha. It's just that, in the gid anasha area, there's also some chaylev, some fatty, material which sort of enwraps the gid anasha. So what status does a chaylev have? The pasuk says, don't eat a gid hanasha, the sinew itself. What about the fatty, residue that's sort of attached to the gid? So Shmuel seems to be saying now that it's mutter. No problem, eat it. Gesundheit. Once again, it's not so simple, but miflek pligi, there's a machlokes about it. The sanya. The question is, how far, what's the scope? How far reaching is the gid anasha? The sanya. Gid anasha mechatet achra b'chal makam shehu. First of all, says Rameir, you can't just slice off the top, the soup, the surface section of the gid anasha. You have to go dig after it. Mechatet achra, you have to go cut and find it. All the fibers, all the offshoots. Whoever it is, all the way deep inside, you got to pull them all out. That's first of all. Number two, regarding the fatty material, likewise, the fat has to be removed from the bottom completely. Wherever you find it, pull them out. Divrei, that's a shita of Rameir. Okay, so Rameir says two things. The actual gid anasha extends far below the surface, and all of it has to be extracted. Number two, the shuman as well is included in the Yisr. Rabbi Yehuda, no. Just clip off the top of the gid anasha, whatever is visible on the outside, over the meat over there, and that's it. What's embedded inside, you can leave alone. Rabbi Yehuda, you just slice it in mashayfi, along the shayfi, along the section of meat, meaning whatever is sticking out, whatever is pronounced. Otherwise, just slice it, smooth it out, and whatever is embedded is okay. Likewise, the shuman is not an issue. Okay, so according to Reb Meir, it would seem that the shuman is asur min HaTorah. How could Shmuel say, everybody agrees the chaylev, the fatty aspect of the gid anasha is okay? Lo'elam chel by the gid. Truthfully, Shmuel was referring to the fattiness of the gid. And even Ramir, who says that it's usr, he agrees that min ha-Torah it's mutter. It's only midrabanan. We want to keep a step away from the gid anasha. So we say, keep away from the fat. There's some fusion going on there. It's hard to tell what's what. And midrabanan it's usr. But Shmuel was talking min ha-Torah. Min ha-Torah all agree it's mutter. Rabbi Yehuda certainly agrees that it's mutter, and Ramir also. Shmuel would agree to Ramir, according to Ramir, but Rabbanan, it's still usr. The Sanyas we find in a Brisa, where it appears that Ramir, although he holds min ha-Torah, it's okay, but Rabbanan it's usr, the Sanya, v'shamni mutter. The shuman, the fattiness of the gid anasha is okay. Min ha-Torah, v'Yisrael Kedoshim, the holy Jews, nogah b'Isser, practice Isser, to be extra careful. My love Ramir, we're assuming this is Ramir speaking. The Amar who says mutter min ha-Torah, asum d'Rabbanan, it's only asum d'Rabbanan, min ha-Torah it's mutter, which fits with our theory. Who says mimai? No, maybe Dilma Rabbi, maybe according to Ramir, it's asum min ha-Torah, not like Shmuel. And this Brisa, which says it's only asum d'Rabbanan, it's Rabbi Yehuda. Aval Ramir, midaraisa nami asum, but according to Ramir, it's asum min ha-Torah. No, you can't say it. You can't suggest that. You know why? Look at the next Brisa, which clarifies it further. The Sanya. This Brisa seems to be echoing the words of Ramir. And then it says that the Shuman is only asur midrabanan. The Sanya of the Brisa gid anasha. How far deep does it go? Mechatet achrav b'chol makom shu. You have to dig it out from beneath the surface. That's Ramir's type of talk, right? V'shamni mutter. And then he says the Shuman is mutter. Hold it. A minute ago we said the contrary, the Shuman is asur. Oh, that's the solution. Min ha-Torah it's mutter as per this Brisa, whereas midrabanan it's asur. We keep one step away from the isur. Man shamas le'disli chatita. Who's the one that advocates for extracting all the offshoots and the fibers? That's Ramir. Amar, and he clearly says shamni mutter. The Shuman is mutter as per Shmuel's statement, because min ha-Torah it's mutter. Although midrabanan with Ramir it's asur. So at this point, how far reaching is the gid anasha according to Ramir? You got to pull it all out with all the fibers. And the Shuman, well, that's only asr midrabanan. Amar Rav Yitzchak bar Shmuel Amar to Amar Rav on this topic. Lo yasra Torah el k'noiknes shaboy. Just the opposite. The Torah only forbid the k'noiknes, the fibers, the little offshoots that are embedded in the basar, that have flavor, that have taste, but the actual sinew, the vein itself, is a tasteless entity. It's like a piece of wood. There's no isser on that. So just the opposite of what we would think. Ula Amar, he says, no, eitzu. Yes, I agree. It's like a piece of wood. Torah chiva olav. Torah holds him liable for eating it. So unlike conventional isurim, which are edible materials, and if it's inedible, you're exempt. But here's just the opposite, a special exception for gid anasha, that despite its being barely edible and certainly tasteless, eitzu, it's still asr, and he's chayev. Amar Abaye says Abaye kabasei de ulam estavra. Says, I'm going to go with Ula's approach, that it's the actual gid, which is asr, and not the little fibers. He's going to bring a raya from chaylev, slightly different topic, right? Chaylev are the forbidden fats in the animal. The Amar of Sheshes, Amar of Asi. So he tells us like this: Chutin shebechaylev asurim. Only the actual blob of fat is asur, but the chut and the fibers that extend it, that's asur midrabanan, because it's too close to the. But you're not liable min ha-Torah. Alma. So what do we see from here? Chaylev amarachmana. When the Torah forbids chaylev, it's the chaylev. It's the chunk of chaylev, not the strings. The strings attached. Hachanam yerzol by the gid. Gid amarachmana. The Torah says don't eat the gid, the actual vein, the primary, but not v'lo kneknes. But not the tributaries. Gufa. Let's go back to Amar of Sheshes, Amar of Asi. Chutin shebechelev asurin, chayev naleim. Right, the fibers coming out of the chelev are also with the rabbanon only, but you're not chayev. Shebekol yasurin, chayev naleim. Likewise, the fat fibers emanating from the kidney. So only the fat on the kidney is also, but the fibers, they're also with the rabbanon because they're close to the actual fat. But chayev naleim, one is not liable min ha-Torah. There's no karis, there's no malchus. Okay, what about Levin Kulya? So the kidney has a crevice inside which we have fat, but it spreads outside as well. Rabbi Chia There was a machlokes. Chad asa, one says this is considered forbidden fat. V'chad shari, the other one permitted it. Rabba mamartetle, Rabbi Yechon mamartetle. Rabba and Rabbi Yechon both extracted it, cleaned it completely out of the kidney, leaving nothing behind. Rabbi Asi, on the other hand, goimle. He would just slice off whatever was like covering, whatever emanated from the kidney, but was deep inside, that he would have no problem eating. Amar Abaye, Kavasei, Abaye again says, I'm going to side with Rav Asi's approach, that only the actual fat is asur, but the, whatever is embedded inside is mutter. Or Abaye, Kavasei, the Rav Asi Mistavra, I'm going to side with Rav Asi's approach, Amar Abba Udam Shmuel, because as we said before, as they told us regarding another section of fat, and we'll see from there that only the pronounced section is asur, but not what's embedded in the flesh around it. Chelav shabasar. We turn to the next page. Chelav shabasar chayfa oisim mutter. So the back of that, towards the back, you have the ksalam, right, the sides, the flanks. So the chelav, which is embedded in the layers of meat in there, shabasar chayfa oisim, that's mutter. Why? Alma, apparently, sha'alak salam amar achmana. The Torah, in describing that section of fat, speaks of it being alak salam, on top, visible, exposed. As opposed to the parts that are sort of embedded inside the actual meat. So that's not considered chelav. Here as well regarding the chelav of the kidneys. The Torah specifies the blob of fat perched on the exterior of the kidneys, sitting on the outside. As opposed to the material which is embedded inside, that's not considered chelav, which is asur. So likewise, right? So that's why he says that I go with the shita of Asi. You only have to remove the part that's sitting on it, but not embedded inside. Okay, so let's just do a quick chazar of today's daf. We went back to the struggle between Yaakov and Sarah Shel Esav. Yaakov ultimately prevailed. Sarisa, right? And then he alluded to the future generations and now prominent leaders, even in Gullus. We had many interpretations for the dream of the Saramashkim, whether it relates to past event or future events, whether it relates to the Geula from Mitzrayim. We spoke about the number of tzaddikim that are found throughout all generations and all times. We spoke about the Kaf HaYorech being a prerequisite for the Isser Giranasha. We spoke about the question of whether the Giranasha and the Chela applies to a shlil, unborn animal. We discussed the scope of the Giranasha and the status of the Shuman, which would be only asur b'drabanan, and we spoke about other sections of fat as well. And according to Abaye's approach, it's only asur when it's outstanding, pronounced, as opposed to embedded within the flesh material. Okay, all the best to you, and Hatzlacha Rabbah.